I'm talking about the violent windstorm that blew through our region early on Labor Day 1998. It was hard to get through the holiday this year without thinking of the lost lives, the lost property, lost trees that fell by the thousands 1 year ago. Many of you have asked to see again the News Channel 9 special we first broadcast last September, 10 days after the storm. It shows nature at its worst and Central New Yorkers at their best. Here again is the Labor Day disaster.
Calls are coming from all over the county. Not the northern part of the county, they're coming from every area of the county and city.
I knew this was bigger than something, anything we've seen in quite some time.
The wind took me up about 10 feet in the air.
This was the reminder to them that no matter what you do, something more powerful can undo it.
It was just, it looked like the neighborhood had been dismantled.
You found out it just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
And we looked out, and my wife yells, "The church is gone." And I looked out, and there was just nothing.
His first remarks were that he did not realize that the destruction and the devastation was as bad as it was.
I looked out the window, and I didn't want to see anymore. It was enough.
You see just mass destruction there and things that are irreplaceable.
It hit where people in some cases could least afford to be without services and food and power for a while.
The damage there was so intense and so concentrated that it's going to take months and even years before some people recover.
So noisy, and just all the wind and the sounds and the lightning, and then it was so quiet, and it was all that was left behind. It was eerie.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
Began to drive home. I had the news vehicle at the time, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it just hit. It started raining, and the raining got harder and harder and harder, and pretty soon the visibility was zero. And it was kind of scary there. What am I doing here?
Then my son came running in our room. "Mommy, Mommy, I'm scared. What's going on? Is Godzilla here?" He was terrified, and we had just watched the Godzilla movie a couple of days before. So he hopped into bed with us, and my husband comforted him, and I was real curious. I looked out the window, and I didn't want to see anymore. It was enough.
Both of our children were huddling with Alice and I. They were just absolutely scared. And the wind and the velocity of the wind told me that we had some trouble. I looked out the window and saw some trees that were down, and knew full well that we were in for some trouble.
Fire control to hazmat.
I called 911, and I said, "What's going on out there?" Because obviously I knew it was a bad storm. The information was they were getting calls from all over the county. Very bad situation.
I knew something was up. I knew by the lightning, just the whole eeriness, I think, of the whole situation. I knew this was bigger than something, anything we've seen in quite some time.
As I drove into the station on the interstate, you couldn't see a whole lot of damage because it was dark. But that was it. It was incredibly dark. There was no ambient city light around. And the last time I saw a situation like that is when a tornado went through Raleigh, North Carolina in 1987.
Is there anybody else? All right, Peter, we'll go.
Send them up? Okay.
It was around 2 o'clock. Put the county in a state of emergency based on the information that I had. We've got widespread damage that's being assessed, but we have a lot of roads blocked, as I think most people have recognized that have been out there traveling, but we're encouraging no unnecessary travel by any of the citizens of Onondaga County.
Anybody called in from there?
We're going to go downstairs. Okay.
With people reportedly trapped, fire departments responding.
We went down and by 3 o'clock had the emergency command center in operation. Everybody moved very quickly, obviously still not knowing the extent of the storm, but only with reports from police, fire, and other people that were calling in.
Your address?
8571.
Angela?
All the disciplines that are part of our emergency plan came together. Their training has allowed them to go right into action, and that allowed us to get a pretty good head start on what we were going to have to address.
First thing is public safety.
Stay to the right, go underneath the wires over there.
Mobilizing our police department in conjunction with our fire department to respond to fires, to respond to emergency situations, to take control, basically, of the city.
And then it was like organized chaos. A lot of calls coming.
Truck 4 heavy in service, stand by for another one.
I was in a James Street area, so I went there first, and it was like flooding. I went downtown. There was trash all over the place, broken trees.
I turned the corner, and as soon as I turned the corner, I knew this was bad. There were trees down everywhere. I wasn't quite sure whether I'd be able to maneuver the vehicle around all the trees, and I managed to do that. There was just enough space on the roadway for my vehicle to get by.
When I walked into the building, it was dark in here. The only place lit was, at that time, was the weather office because we had backup power. And it was a good thing because we were able to assess the situation very quickly. Then we had to get it on the air. And the engineers were scrambling in here, getting wires, cable from our generator outside in the satellite truck, I guess, into the newsroom to at least get a couple of lights on and a couple, or at least one studio camera going. The officials and emergency crews are trying to do their best to get to areas where there are trees and power lines down to help people that may need help and to try and establish communications and electricity to the area as quickly as possible.
Calls are coming from all over the county, not the northern part of the county, they're coming from every area of the county and city.
Billy, what are you doing?
Tom, I gotta move this out. I gotta move this inventory. Even if it means 30, 40, 50% off, I gotta move it.
It's Fusillo's 50% stock reduction sale. And now through this weekend at the Fusillo Import Auto Mall, find a great selection of import used cars like Hondas, Toyotas, Saabs, Infinitis, Mitsubishis, Mazdas, Hyundais, and more, starting at only $59.95 at Fusillo's.
Tom Park, I don't think you understand. The only deals we can't make are the deals we don't see. Happy! Happy! Happy!
Dunkin' Bright's the place to shop during our 72nd birthday sale. You'll find plenty of reasons to celebrate with guaranteed lowest prices store-wide. Enjoy free cake and refreshments while you shop. Free financing up to 1 full year on quality furniture for every room in your home. The 72nd birthday sale is going on now at Dunkin' Bright, still New York State's largest furniture store.
All I could do was put my hands up. I didn't want to go through the windshield.
Car wreck? Call 888-LAW-1333. We take care of everything.
We got them to settle real fast.
We've got the experience to get you more.
We settled out of court. We didn't have to bother with the court system.
We've helped people collect millions in out-of-court settlements.
I think he's the best lawyer in Syracuse. No doubt about it.
Call Alexander and Catalano.
We're 2 for you.
Thank you, Mr. Jim.
Any Ford dealer can sell you a new car.
But can they give you this? Piro Brothers Ford in Elbridge specializes in a great selection of high-quality, low-mileage used cars and trucks at low prices. Dozens of some of the best used cars around. That's why families all over Central New York find vehicles that fit their families and price range at Piro Brothers Ford. So whether a new or pre-owned vehicle is what you want, stop by and see for yourself the world of difference at Piro Brothers Ford, Route 5 in Elbridge.
That's not natural. But Oak Express is. Real wood furniture and real savings. Oak Express, naturally better.
Oh, hey, Mom, here's a gadget that'll make it easy to get dinner ready. Car keys!
Because the Mega Meal is back. This time including double mashed potatoes with gravy. The Mega Madness price is just $15.99.
I'll cook, you drive.
Tomorrow on Daybreak.
Aim high. Be sure to watch us in the morning.
We have tickets to give away for the air show coming up this weekend, and we'll have the parachute team, the Golden Knights, with us, so join us tomorrow.
News Channel 9 Daybreak. Up early at 5 a.m.
Anyone to Fairgrounds. Fairgrounds on you calling.
I stopped by somebody, and I can't remember. I think it was a police officer, said something about, you know, the state fair got hit hard.
My daughter and I did the tour about 12:30, quarter to 1, and we headed home, which is within 2 miles of the fairgrounds. As we were heading home, it was lightning around us, and we got to the house, and the wind started picking up, and shortly thereafter, I got back into the car and went back to the fairgrounds.
All county roads are closed. All roads in the county are closed.
There was just darkness. You could see temporary structures leveled. You could see trees down everywhere. You could see that flag poles were bent.
We have power lines down. We have possible propane gas tanks that have ruptured.
Really left you speechless. How much you saw, didn't even know where to begin looking. You didn't even know where to begin assessing the damage, the impact. It was overwhelming at first, and then it was just a very, very sad experience.
The Dairy Products building roof had blown off, and the debris had traveled some 200, 300, 400 feet, and it landed on one of the concession tents that John Butch Perry was in. As we told his twin boys, father was a hero. His job was to watch that tent for the night, and he was bound and determined to protect the equipment that was in that tent and to watch that tent.
Within just a couple of minutes of being at the front gate, a man approached us. His name is Mike Santillo, and his family owns Santillo's sausage stand. And right away, he started telling us
Everything was breaking up, glass was flying. Top of that building, a piece of it blew off and hit him. It just killed him instantly. The wind took me up about 10 feet in the air, and finally the beam started breaking, and a twirling gust came at me, threw me against the panel. It's just been hell.
Earl Stone was in his camper sleeping, and his son, who was staying in the barn, came out to the camper and said, "Dad, the winds are starting to pick up. Why don't you come in?" And Beryl was getting dressed when a large tree fell onto the camper.
the stories you find out afterwards is that he was going to show his horses that day. That he probably would have been up in just a couple of hours to start getting his horse, his buggy, all of his equipment ready to go. And instead, he didn't get that chance.
And we want to evacuate everybody so that we can continue to assess the situation.
It wasn't chaotic, but it was definitely tense. People had been roused out of sound sleeps by either the storm or by someone knocking on their door of their camper saying, "Get out now." All we had were stories from the people who had been evacuated off the grounds, what they had been through. One woman was towing a pop-up camper that was shredded on both sides.
And my son-in-law pushed the door open and says, come on, follow me. We ran, we jumped in the truck, and he went back to secure the door so it wouldn't blow in the wind, and the whole thing flipped over. It just flipped right over on its side. And we were out of there just a second. Just shut the door and it flipped over.
They were very cooperative. They did what they were supposed to do, which was just kind of wait.
Could everybody come out of their camper? We'll give you an update. Thank God there's no more than the 2 casualties that we see. Thank God that it was done in the middle of the night. Had this happened during the day, God knows what would have happened.
Everybody was quiet.
There will not be a fair today. The destruction is devastating. The buildings have lost roofs in some cases, glasses blown out, and tents are leveled.
Once we were able to get on the grounds at daylight, I mean, it was just remarkable. What can you say?
Hangars. Hangars and the racks, that's about it. Everything else is pretty much destroyed.
And there was the clock at the wine court, which had stopped at about 1:18, which had to have about been the time that the storm went through.
Our prayers and our sympathy goes out to the casualties. And all we can say is that everybody reacted and responded in a manner that we owe them all a great deal of credit and we should be proud of.
It's unbelievable. Everybody worked so hard, and everything was so great this year. So.
Doesn't matter how much you do. When God decides that there's going to be a natural disaster, it's in His hands.
It's all about being in the right place at the right time. Celebrate from the driver's seat in a new Ford Escort or ZX2. Now, during the Ford Authorized Clearance, $2,000 cash back. That's right, $2,000 cash back on Escort and ZX2. I just wanna celebrate. Celebrate in a new set of wheels during the Ford Authorized Clearance at your local Ford store.
Billy, what are you doing?
Tom, I gotta move this out. I gotta move this inventory. Even if it means 30, 40, 50% off, I gotta move it.
It's Fusillo's 50% stock reduction sale. And through this weekend, you'll find a tremendous selection of sport utilities, including Explorers, Blazers, and Cherokees. Lease one for as low as $239 a month. It's all at the mall this weekend, the Fusillo Auto Mall.
Tom Park, I don't think you understand. The only deals we can't make are the deals we don't see.
Happy! Happy! Happy!
Dunkin' Bright's the place to shop during our 72nd birthday sale. You'll find plenty of reasons to celebrate with guaranteed lowest prices store-wide. Enjoy free cake and refreshments while you shop. Free financing up to 1 full year on quality furniture for every room in your home. The 72nd birthday sale is going on now at Dunkin' Bright, still New York State's largest furniture store.
We have a lot of laughs on Hollywood Squares.
Yeah, especially when you open your check. But I love when Bobcat's on.
Eating this may fight pain better than a regular dose of aspirin. What is it?
Human flesh. Garlic.
Would you agree or disagree?
I'll agree.
Believe it or not, it is cherries that help relieve pain.
Get out of here! Cherries!
Cherries!
You got to watch the show. You didn't know that.
Hollywood Squares, weeknights at 7.
I'm a professional bargain hunter, and I'm here teaching a course on bargain hunting.
You. What do you do if you don't get your aim circular?
Steal your neighbors.
No, never deprive someone of a name circular. It's wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
Wait till next week. Go sit in the hall. If you don't get your aim circular, you go to the nearest Ames as soon as possible. There is always a copy in the store. Without your aim circular, you have no game plan. With no game plan, you could miss a great bargain. Do you want to miss a great bargain? No.
I can't hear you.
No. The Dream Doctors at Metro Mattress want you to sleep free for 1 full year. That's right, sleep free. No payment, no down payment, no finance charges, no kidding. Just pay in August of 2000 and you'll save big on every Sealy, Serta, Simmons, and King Coil mattress. And as always, Metro gives you the guaranteed lowest price. So hurry in. Get free delivery on every Sealy Posturepedic, Serta Perfect Sleeper, and Simmons Beauty Rest. And you'll sleep free till August of 2000. Sleep free is going on now and only at Metro Mattress.
This was a devastating storm, the worst storm I think we've ever seen in our history.
We're not going very far today.
As the dawn arrived, as it became light outside, you began to see people wandering out of their homes and beginning to assess the damage.
Got 3 trees on the barn, 1 tree on the house, and a tree on one of the cars in here, and but nobody's hurt.
Every 10 to 15 minutes at least, you would hear about some other area of the region or something worse that let you know that the power outage was massive.
We have over 200,000 customers out right now. Over 150,000 of those are out here in central New York.
It started to sink in.
The damage is major and it's very widespread. Many trees down, wires down, poles down, portions of buildings and homes have been destroyed.
And the further you went, the more neighborhoods you visited, the more towns that you visited, you found out it just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
Oh my God.
Saw the roof torn off and then came back around and saw access to the building in the front here where it shouldn't be, and quite a shock. Our service desk, which was in one area, is pushed up against a fence and just everything flipped.
It was just devastating. Scared the heck out of you. We just waited it out. Once it stopped, we came out and assessed the damage, and as you can see, there's plenty of damage.
Suddenly looked up and the steeple was gone in the church, and part of the roof of the church is gone as well. The parish is about 150 years old. Yeah, it's been there a long time.
Some way we'll find a way to get ourselves together and continue on as a worshiping community. It's hard to say exactly how right now.
I've lived in the valley now for about 25 years, but I grew up in the university section, and I was naturally curious to see how those neighborhoods had fared. So I did a little survey of huge trees, maybe 12 feet around, up by the roots with the sidewalk pulled up with it and the curbing pulled up with it, and branches in the homes. I went by one home where a picnic table was halfway up a tree, sitting perfectly erect. I thought that was the strangest sight I'd seen. It looked like a war zone when I got to the university section about 9 o'clock on Labor Day morning. It was just, it looked like the neighborhood had been dismantled.
There was just trees down everywhere on top of the roof. There wasn't anything on top of my car. They knocked and flattened all the fences. And I came out this morning, I was even more amazed. The damage was unbelievable. There's no lines, nothing.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
Fort Byron and the town of Mentz, especially that Federated Church right in the heart of the village, it seemed like the focal point for the whole storm. It wasn't just a steeple that was over, the whole church was on the ground.
And my wife yells, "The church is gone." And I looked out and there was just nothing. This is what's left.
I also interviewed a couple of families who lived just a few miles north and west of Fort Byron, took half the home away, and through it 800 or 900 yards, the half that departed was a good stretch removed from where they lived, and they had to hide between their bed and the wall just to survive. Some historic homes down in Peterborough and Perryville in the town of Lincoln, and then the city of Oneida, which also seemed kind of like Port Byron in Cayuga County to be on the storm's destructive path.
Over 1,000 trees, and that's come down here, and that's just unheard of.
With farms, too, some individual farm buildings in rural Madison County.
At Oakwood Cemetery, until you actually go in
and see the damage. You see the architecture that has been there since the 1800s destroyed. You see the family plots just spread out over an area that was not where it was before the storm. You see just mass destruction there and things that are irreplaceable.
It's devastating. It's just totally devastating. I wish I could call each and every individual family.
Erie Village apartment complex. This woman was trapped, and we talked to her, and then we talked to her neighbors who had gone and rescued her because the roof had fallen in on her and her husband.
As much as the damage to the house, at least they're alive.
That's the main thing. We're happy to say that we outlived it.
Our concern at that point in time was individuals who were alone, elderly individuals, might have severe problems. And the people were great. I mean, they did look in at their neighbors.
Lincoln Avenue in Syracuse. People out cleaning stuff up even before the Syracuse City and NIMO crews got there. Shonard Street, same thing. People out there clearing the branches, helping other people out.
Everybody came out and pulled the weight to clean all this out so fire trucks and stuff could get through. I think it's nice. Neighbors came out to really help.
That was pretty rewarding to see that.
People started to come out of their houses and out of their neighborhoods to actually see what was beyond their immediate area.
The wall is missing.
All the staff here is pulled together and we're getting ourselves back into shape.
Could have been worse. We still got our kids in our house, so we're lucky.
And it was so quiet. Driving through the roads and seeing it all and imagining what it might have been like to be outside while it was happening, so noisy and just all the wind and the sounds and the lightning, and then it was so quiet and it was all that was left behind. It was eerie.
Things as big as an 800-pound asphalt bucket that's used to seal the deck with, that was flipped 180 degrees. Things were driven right straight through. Some of the sidewalls, bricks were knocked off the parapet.
Municipal damage in the storm has been put at tens of millions of dollars, money that the federal government is going to have to come in and give local governments because they just can't afford the cost. Among the things that were affected, school buildings in the city of Syracuse alone, Fowler High School, the hardest hit, heavy damage.
This whole ceiling section came right out. You can see it's still coming down.
We're talking roughly 1,200 students, and where do you house them?
You can rebuild buildings. The sad thing is the two people who lost their lives, and our thoughts and prayers are with their families.
His first remarks were that he did not realize that the destruction, the devastation was as bad as it was.
But when you see just an entire section of a roof where nothing hit it, just blown away by the wind, it's just incredible, the devastation. You know, I'd seen the film clips, and we had been on the phone with the mayor and the county executive and talking with our emergency management people, but the magnitude of the devastation is just incredible.
Well, we can see if there's anything that is coming in from another direction.
I went out with the National Weather Service survey team on Monday, and everything we saw on the damage path was laying down in one direction, indicating winds had come from one direction. It's what we call straight line winds.
Look at those flagpoles. The winds were, I ain't shitting. They had to have been 100 knots out.
Yeah.
You don't bend flagpoles like that.
100 knots, you think?
The grass, even where there's grass, like over there, the grass is a little higher, but it's blowing so hard it actually flattened the grass in that direction too. And that matches with the damage over there. I don't even know if there's any rotation to it. A derecho, and I think there was 100 knots of wind. Yep.
Derecho refers to a pattern of straight line winds from thunderstorms that are severe and damaging that exist over a long period of time. This began around 12:30 north of Rochester, made it all the way to Boston by 5:30 in the morning.
So there was 75-mile-an-hour wind gusts at the airport, right? That was officially reported. Yes. 64 knots or whatever it was.
Look at this. This is a park.
Yep.
How long does it usually take to survey here? I mean, this is a big one.
Yeah. It depends. This is fairly easy. It's so big, you know, it wasn't a tornado. You know, you're just looking for those little
where the worst damage is. I just want to see if it's kind of all unidirectional, the width of it. So all you do is you find north, right? And then you turn away, you point the arrow the way the trees are laying, and then you turn this till it lines up with north, and that gives you your direction. You know, so all the trees are laying that way.
Almost straight east.
You got a real, yeah, what is it, like 80, 82 degrees? Almost due east.
Oh, man.
Can't wait to see this, guys. This is a war zone.
From the west towards the east.
Yeah.
You got to figure the dynamics that were going on with that air probably getting in underneath that eave and the pressure just blowing up.
Right. Enough to lift that up. You know, the overhang.
Now look how thoroughly everything was shredded on the left here. Not only branches thrown down, but leaves just stripped.
That one part of town we were just in, it's bad. You know? It's all tree damage. And then the trees fall on the wires, you know, and so there's pole damage. And then fall on cars or whatever. It's very concentrated over a wide area. Thousands of trees, you know. A whole huge part of the city, you know.
We have been reporting for years on tornadoes that hit small pockets, terrible thunderstorms that caused trees to come down in people's yards. But everyone was affected by this, and as I drove in on Route 20 and then on Route 92 towards Manlius, it was like somebody dropped a bomb in the area. And I was just, it's overwhelming to see that, to see your neighborhood destroyed that way.
The damage there was so intense and so concentrated that it's going to take months and even years before some people recover.
Dunkin' Bright's the place to shop during our 72nd birthday sale. You'll find plenty of reasons to celebrate with guaranteed lowest prices store-wide. Enjoy free cake and refreshments while you shop. Free financing up to 1 full year on quality furniture for every room in your home. The 72nd birthday sale is going on now at Dunkin' Bright, still New York State's largest furniture store.
Billy, what are you doing?
Tom! I gotta move this out. I gotta move this inventory. Even if it means 30, 40, 50% off, I gotta move it.
It's Fusillo's 50% stock reduction sale. We're overstocked, transports are rolling in, and everything is reduced. Rows and rows of quality used cars, trucks, vans, and sport utilities as low as $39.50. But the key is you need to act now.
Tom Park, I don't think you understand. The only deals we can't make are the deals we don't see.
When Irish skies are smiling.
From their acclaimed performance on public television, we proudly present the Irish Tenors. Here are the award-winning voices of John McDermott, Anthony Kearns, and Ronan Tynan. Yours to enjoy again. Thrill to the world's 3 greatest Irish tenors as they sing the beloved music of Ireland. Every selection is beautifully arranged for a magnificent 60-piece orchestra.
And we'll all go together in the wild mountain tide, all around the blooming heather.
These are the songs you know and love, performed like you've never heard before. Unrivaled passion, matchless beauty. It's the concert the whole world loves. John McDermott, Anthony Kearns, and Ronan Tynan, the Irish Tenors. You get over 1 hour of beautiful music. Yours on long play cassette, CD, or the spectacular video that's not sold in stores. Be sure to order now.
To order this spectacular treasure, email $12.98 for long play cassette, $16.98 for CD to the Irish Tenors. Box 99, Syracuse 13214. Thrilled to the world's 3 greatest Irish tenors singing the beloved music of Ireland. You get 20 beautiful melodies over 1 hour of music. Also available on video, only $19.95. Mail now to the Irish Tenors. Box 99, Syracuse, New York 13214.
It's clear that this is a storm that's going to take a significant amount of time before everybody is back. Some people will be restored relatively quickly. Others, the final people to be restored, may take a week or longer. So people should be planning in some areas for an extended outage.
Frankly, affecting parts of the city of Syracuse that were pretty poor off to begin with, the south and the southwest sides. I mean, it hit where people in some cases could least afford to be without services and food and power for a while.
Nothing tangible to eat because all my food is spoiled.
The loss of food with people that buy off of food stamps. And again, they went into their emergency plan using the Civic Center and the War Memorial. And people were handled quickly, and people volunteered from all departments of county government. You know, it wasn't a question, that's not my job. It was a question, what job can I do?
We set up in conjunction with the Red Cross and the county emergency center locations for the distribution of food to people that were in need.
The Red Cross will come down here. We'll prepare the food. They will take it out to where the people have need.
The Ladies Auxiliary's been up here since Monday night. We're feeding the fire department. The police department's coming here for food. The Niagara Mohawk guys and the Village of Manly's DPW guys and some of the tree crews are coming up here to eat.
I'm with no phone, no electricity, nothing. So I'm trying to find some friends and huddle together with the candle and go from there.
Go to bed early.
You know, I feel everything happens for a reason. That's just the way I am, and I really feel that it's brought families closer. It almost forces you to become closer, and how long it'll last, I don't know.
Because my parents' home was so badly damaged, anybody driving by had to look at their house and say, oh my, they really got hit. And this woman across the street from them, who was just moving into a brand new house, took photographs for my dad of the car, brought them to the grocery store to have them developed in 1 hour, brought them ice, you know, and she's brand new. She's not even really their neighbor yet, and yet she was there ready to help. She, with her 3 or 4 children, not even moved into the new house, couldn't wait to come over to my parents and say, what can I do to help you?
We're just all looking out for each other. I've got Mr. Getman over for dinner and breakfast, and that's just the way a neighborhood should be, I think, you know, looking out for each other. So we're doing fine.
Even in the small villages and towns around central New York, everybody doesn't literally know everybody this well until crisis hits, and then you're almost forced to get to know your neighbors. You mix that in with the strangers from out of town, the utility crews who are in to do their job.
Everybody's working as hard as possible and trying to restore everything as safe and quickly as possible, and 18 hours a day. Yeah, they give you a good 6 hours rest.
The Air National Guard and the Army National Guard and the State Departments of Transportation, they were here from day one. They're still here. There's about 800 members in those 2 organizations that are clearing, that are helping people, and we can't tell you enough how important that is.
We all kind of cheered when they said, aha, the Army is here. That's exactly what we needed. We needed an army to clear this out.
If you have a chainsaw, you were very popular in your neighborhood. If you had a generator, you were a god. You were very popular if you could invite people over to have a hot cup of coffee or a hot meal in your home because you were powered up temporarily by your own gas generator, or if you had a chainsaw to spare or just some elbow grease that you could lend if you were able to get down the street.
It's been a nightmare, and we've been out here since 3:30 this afternoon, and it's crazy.
So we're getting a generator and we're gonna get up and going.
I talked with many people who ran down as far as Scranton, Pennsylvania to buy emergency generators. They brought the generators back to central New York, plugged them in, filled them up with gas, and 5 minutes later the power came back on.
Busy, busy, busy.
Batteries. People looking for the batteries they need because while the flashlight may have worked in the initial hours after the storm, now it was running out. Now they needed more batteries to make it through, and in some cases they were looking at a period of several days that they'd have to go before they'd have power again.
Everything's gone, all the stuff that's being restocked today.
If you found a hardware store, you pulled in right away to get what you needed, batteries, candles, whatever you needed to get through the storm with. People lost the contents of their freezers and their refrigerators, losing hundreds of dollars in the process.
Ice. Where do you get the ice? I heard that over and over and over again.
What are you gonna have? Two. Got him. What are you gonna get? 4.
We saw massive lines of people all lined up just to buy enough ice to keep some food fresh for just a few more hours until they could get more ice.
Well, I have a large upright freezer, and then I have my regular freezer. So I took everything out, impacted it in ice, and it's starting to melt.
We sold, I think, 15,000 pounds of dry ice between 11 and 4 this afternoon, and I don't even know how many cubes we sold. So probably an equal amount of both.
That was the big thing. Ice. Where can I get my ice?
Changing lifestyle, obviously with all the traffic signals out, getting people to start going to an always stop. It took a day or so, but sooner or later everybody start recognizing this is the way we're going to treat traffic controls if they're out.
Syracuse did not have power, the city of Syracuse, for a considerable period of time, and for public safety, for the people that wanted to go outdoors, and for others, I had to impose that curfew. I did impose it. It was extremely effective. It kept people, some of those streets, there was no good reason you should even be near those streets, let alone trying to walk down them, or you couldn't even drive through them. It was public safety, and I had many people over the past few days say, Mayor, thank you for that curfew. That was absolutely the right thing to do. It kept, in the evening hours, it kept people away from harm.
People began to go to great lengths to find some place where they could make up for some of the things they didn't have at home. We began to see people looking for restaurants that were open.
We decided to get out for the evening instead of just being cramped up all day.
Good morning and welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order, please?
Fast food restaurants were jammed with people.
Could there be anything else? No, thank you. 332, please go to the second drive window.
I usually get up and have a nice pot of coffee, and I teach at SU, but everything's closed today, so I ran over here to get something warm.
Knowing that their power would be out for a few days, knowing that their power situation wasn't likely to change right away, they may have stuck it out for a day or two, but they had finally reached their breaking point, so many of them found the nearest and quickest route to a hotel.
Hi, thank you for calling Embassy Suite Syracuse.
Sanity means more than money.
No, I'm sorry, we're all sold out this evening. We have no rooms available tomorrow either.
Without TV, people were missing out on history in the making. President Clinton's deepening crisis that could lead to impeachment or resignation.
I don't think there is a fancy way to say that I have sinned. It is important to me that everybody who has been hurt know that the sorrow I feel is genuine.
Mark McGwire's bid for the home run record. And by the end of the week, some SU football fans who wanted to follow their team's game at Michigan, they made their way to Manley Fieldhouse.
We're going to cheer on our football team.
That's right. We have orange power. That's right. We don't need power.
How long has it been since you've been in a laundromat?
Quite a while. We have no choice tonight.
Because I have no power, I have no clothes left.
For some reason, the squirrels did not do very well either. These squirrels were found, and these people had this cat who had just had kittens, and the cat adopted the squirrels and took care of them.
She's the best eater.
Yeah, still feeds really well.
Is that right? When they go back in there.
And the squirrels were nursing, and from the cat.
You know, Festa Italiana was great last year, but forget about last year. Listen what they got this year. A pasta and sauce cook-off, a bocce tournament, 3 days of free entertainment, and more great food than anyone can eat. Holy cannoli, Sam Dell's even giving away a car at Festa Italiana, the Italian Cultural Festival, September 17th, 18th, and 19th at Clinton Square. Brought to you by PNC Foods and WIXT News Channel 9.
Billy, what are you doing?
Tom, I gotta move this out. I gotta move this inventory. Even if it means 30, 40, 50% off, I gotta move it.
It's Fusillo's 50% stock reduction sale. We're overstocked, the transports are rolling in, and everything must go. Like factory buyback 98 Olds Achievas and Buick Skylarks. Or your choice, brand new Rangers and brand new Escorts. Only $99.50 at Fusillo's.
Tom Park, I don't think you understand. The only deals we can't make are the deals we don't see.
Happy! Happy! Happy!
Dunkin' Bright's the place to shop during our 72nd birthday sale. You'll find plenty of reasons to celebrate with guaranteed lowest prices store-wide. Enjoy free cake and refreshments while you shop. Free financing up to 1 full year on quality furniture for every room in your home. The 72nd birthday sale is going on now at Dunkin' Bright, still New York State's largest furniture store.
People with arthritis can swing, or they can swing with capsaicin. It gives you fast, odor-free relief, and unlike the leading pain rubs, the longer you use it, the greater the relief. Let capsaicin put you back in the swing of things.
He scratches itchy cuts, then opens the cut to germs again, but ordinary ointments don't stop itch.
Introducing new Gold Bond Triple Antibiotic Ointment. Gold Bond kills germs, plus stops pain and itch while cuts heal.
Gold Bond is extra protection.
Gold Bond Antibiotic Ointment. Kills germs, stops itch.
It's all about being in the right place at the right time. Celebrate from the driver's seat in a new Ford Escort or ZX2. Now, during the Ford Authorized Clearance, $2,000 cash back. That's right, $2,000 cash back on Escort and ZX2. Celebrate in a new set of wheels during the Ford Authorized Clearance at your local Ford store.
New at 11 o'clock from the News Channel 9 newsroom.
I'm Rod Wood. She came here as a foreign exchange student, but found she didn't have a school to go to. We'll have that story for you. We'll also have new information on a tragic ending to a search for a lost toddler. New tonight, the next generation of video games that are a real dream. And the storm team says a more fall-like forecast in our future.
Local people you can count on, delivering your local news at 11 o'clock on News Channel 9.
Yay! The cars are gone!
Works. Good. Okay.
Me do that.
Okay.
This was the storm of a lifetime in Seneca.
This was the reminder to them that no matter what you do, something more powerful can undo it.
We've been shown that we're not immune to things that we read about elsewhere or see elsewhere in the news. You know, the big tornadoes that go through the plains or the Midwestern states or down south. You know, it can happen here, and it's not just a few trees down. I mean, it's whole neighborhoods wiped out, and it can happen here.
I copy that. Visibility is absolutely zero. There's power lines and everything.
I think now people are probably going to pay more attention to severe thunderstorm warnings than ever before, and they probably should.
When we get warnings about weather especially, heed those warnings. Had this happened at 8 o'clock at night, we could have had hundreds killed.
It's not paranoid to go out and get good fresh batteries, good fresh candles, have your eye to the sky, and make sure that you know that maybe get to know your neighbors a little better too. And I have a feeling that happened in this storm anyway.
You need to be prepared for this kind of thing. And nobody should be looking around for matches or candles or batteries or supplies.
Truck's there! Oh, that's a nice one!
We'll rebuild the buildings. The State Fair had a great year. It will have a better year next year. It will continue to get better as it has in each of the last 3 years. So will Central New York. The encouraging thing is neighbors helping neighbors and just friends helping out friends and people who didn't even know each other going across the street to help someone who might be in need.
Chainsaws are burning out, clutches are giving out. Here's what we can try to do.
Walking through all the neighborhoods as I've been doing for the past week and talking to our people, the encouragement that they give one another.
You're going to get power. You have to have power. You got to go back to school.
And the people in this area showed their determination, their heart, their spirit, their will. And I'm proud to be the mayor of a city of people who care about their city and who came together.
Living without some of the modern conveniences humbles you a little bit too, going without the hairdryer for a few days. But, you know, it also toughens you up a little bit, and, you know, maybe we'd all do a little bit better as humans if we cut back a little bit on some of that stuff that we say we need so much of, and just spend time getting back to some of the simple things in life. I think it makes you a better person.
Probably the best lesson is that you don't take anything for granted anymore, and you appreciate each day and your family and your friends and the people that you work with and the people you have fun with in the community. You just enjoy it to its fullest because you never know when God's going to decide.
St. Lucy's Church, one of the hardest hit spots in the city, I think taught us a lesson. The Sunday following the storm. The damage still apparent to those normal parishioners who would be going to the church on Sunday morning. Instead, they went to a nearby auditorium
and attended mass services there. And the whole message that came from that service was that, yeah, we had had some damage. Yeah, we've lost some buildings. But in the long run, what's important is that we are still here and that the people have survived.